Leave your comments on the Ask Reddit sub, and I'll read your answers on the next episode of LWIAR 2. Have you ever woke up in the middle of a dream and the dream was so interesting that you wanted to go back to sleep to see the end of it? If so, what was the dream? I had this dream when I was in college, but I didn't just meet the girl in this one dream. In one night we lived a whole life. 3 kids. Dream family. I don't remember if she died in the dream or if I just woke up randomly, but I was mentally out of it for days. It legitimately felt like I had woken up in the past rather than the present. That 5 to 10 minutes. Just sitting on the edge of your bed in your dimly lit room, breathing slowly as you contemplate loneliness. Didn't fill out the permission slip for this feels trip. I've had this same feeling. Like an actual emotionally strong developed bond just disappears very slowly as you wake up. I've had 2 variations of this dream that are imprinted into my brain because of how vivid they were. The first, she died from cancer and I woke up and was legitimately grieving for someone that didn't exist. The second, she whispered some Lovecraftian Cthulhu crap into my ear and it was a truth so horrible I couldn't comprehend it. And as that revelation settled itself into my mind, I died and woke up in the instant I died. After that one I was rather unsettled the rest of the day. Thankfully my wife found my dream affairs amusing, though now I wonder what forbidden knowledge she has. I remember them big boobies though. Degree. She had such small hands too, would have been great for my self-esteem. Was exploring a jungle with a group of, I assume, friends. We ended up discovering some kind of temple, but it was dark so we decided to set up camp. I was charged with gathering dry wood and leaves for the fire. While macheting my way through vines, I heard my name being screamed by one of the group members in a terrified way. Repeatedly. Woke up to see my mom yelling my name and to get the frick up already. I never found out what that temple was. Edit. I have never watched any adventure movies like Indiana Jones or Jumanji. Nor have I played any Uncharted game. I bet the ones that gave you the gold are now Google searching how to get back my Reddit gold. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Silver. Don't worry, I won't do what the guy above me did. Or will I? For those wondering what he said, check 69 Comfrix comment. He put up a image link. This is going to sound crazy, but I had a dream exactly like that and one of the people in the camp went missing. But it continued and we found out there were jaguars in the area. Jaguar got M. Mom must be a cougar. Nice edit, thanks for the platinum. I'm not joking about this at all. Same dream and I've had it multiple times. We're exploring after finding the temple, I guess. It was always a very obviously ancient but important ruin that we had to explore. I get tasked with finding brush or twigs or dry wood. I'm walking around and I just hear the scariest shrill. I run and a man is there. He ties me to a barbecue grill and asks me to pick a war. I wake up. Edit. Almost every time I've had this dream I've thought the scream was from my little sister, even though I sharpen no one except the man and the grill and some wolves are there. Edit. I like people's interpretations that these are all dreams that might relate back to more nomadic or caveman times. But pick a war. I still wonder all the time what that could mean. What if when we dream we get queued up and matched with other dreamers online and share dreams? Estimated wait time, 47 to 51 matchmaking server, Antarctica. I would give gold if I wasn't so broke. There. Now do you have enough coins to give gold? Nah, gold gives enough coins to give 3 silver. I used to have lucid dreams in my early to mid-20s. As soon as I'd realize I was asleep, I'd start flying or just rising to the ceiling because it was a cool way to test it. Then my immediate thought would be, WHO should I pretend sleep with? And the excitement over that possibility woke me up every damn time. A moment for our fallen bro. The tragedy of Icarus. Who among us hasn't dreamt of flying too close to the ceiling fan? If you come in your dreams, you come in real life. I learned from a very early age to never trust the toilets in my dreams. What you've got to do is have someone in mind before you go to sleep. So when you get to this point you don't have to waste time thinking of who to sleep with. Edit. This is quickly becoming my most upvoted anything. If you only count this account. And I think I'm okay with that. As you slowly drift off, your phone lights up and a message appears, "See you soon, Grandpa." Doesn't change anything for me. I learned I could fly, but I had to teach myself. Woke up right as I was gearing up for the big test to see how high I could go. Forced myself back to sleep, and let me tell ya, flying in a dream is way too freaking fun. I always have dreams where I can fly for about 2 minutes until I realize how cool it is. Then I fall to the ground and can't figure out how to fly again. It's very frustrating. Lol, I had a similar dream, but it had its weird mechanics. Like I couldn't just run and fly, I had to run, jump and kick out like I was laying down to fly, and I could control it by tilting myself forward or back, lol. Anyways, I was showing my friends when they get angry cause they can't do it, so they start throwing rocks at me, so I start flying higher and higher to get away, but I panic cause I'm scared of heights. And then I wake up. Best and one of the worst dreams cause I'm scared of heights. In my head I think I fell and died cause I couldn't remember how to lower myself. There is an art, or, rather, a knack to flying. The knack lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss. I hate dreams where I'm flying, because for some reason I can't control myself and there's freaking electric wires everywhere. He's starting to remember the experiments, shut it down. A long time ago, I had a dream that there were ghosts living in my family's garage. Nowhere else, just the garage. I somehow became friends with one, but she was unable to speak to me, leave the property that the house was on, and wasn't able to show any facial expressions that wouldn't be considered terrifying. Me and my ghost friend were playing on the house porch and 2 guys were trying to break into the house. She tried to stop them by scaring the living heck out of them by making a terrifying face and screaming the most blood-curdling scream ever right in their faces. I wasn't able to see the face she made, but I somehow knew it was there, and all I could hear was the scream. The people trying to rob the house ran off, but instead of celebrating, I curled up and started crying because of how terrifying the scream was. I absolutely loved that ghost, and I forgot that her whole purpose was to scare people, but she did it to protect me and the house. I still cried though, and she tried to cheer me up the best way she could. Then I woke up. I knew that was a dream, but I didn't want to leave my ghost friend alone, knowing the last time she saw me was when she scared me to tears by accident. I tried to go back to sleep, and I did, and I somehow successfully re-entered the dream. Only it was several years in the future. The garage still had a couple of ghosts in it, but not nearly as much, and the rest seemed to be oblivious to humans. I was going into the attic and found some pictures in there of me around the age I was friends with the ghost, and on a picture I saw a very faint image of her face standing next to me. I went down the attic and woke up. I didn't get to tell the ghost that I forgive her or anything, and I still feel some sort of emotional attachment to her. It was probably the best nightmare I've ever had, and one of the dreams I've wanted to go back to the most, just so I can tell her that there are no hard feelings. Edit. Thanks for comments everyone. I was just procrastinating and scrolling through Reddit and saw this post and thought, oh yeah, that happened to me once. I was seriously not thinking much of it and wasn't expecting this many people to be interested in it. This has made my day. How many people have interest in this? Thanks. Another edit for good reasons. For y'all out there, this is about my dream where ghosts exist and one of them I became friends with. I appreciate the support in the comments, but please stop wishing, hoping that we meet in real life. A ghost is a ghost. I would feel physically ill if I saw a ghost. Wholesome or not. Thank you for your time. One last edit because of skepticism. It's been like 5 months since I left this comment here, and looking back on it, I probably should have cleared something up. I remember this dream pretty well because I wrote what I remembered from it on a piece of paper that I had brought to my room before I went to sleep so I could draw. I used to read it every now and then, and I had memorized most of it eventually, and had written a very short story based off of it. I have since lost both of these pieces of paper and they've probably been thrown out by accident by now. Either way, I hope that clears something up regarding my memory of this dream. And yes, I know that my edits are starting to become the length of my story. You don't need to tell me. I very much enjoyed this story, thank you. I was friends with Jesus in the modern day and he was sound, not preachy. One of the lads like, did he by any chance tell you to kill the President of the United States by spinning really fast? Were you also coincidentally in a horse race? When I wake up in the morning, I usually have approximately 30 more minutes before I have to actually get out of bed. If I'm having a dream before I wake up and I go back to sleep, I can usually continue the dream. Last night I had a dream that I was in some kind of resort Jurassic Park-like area. I went back to sleep this morning and managed to get into a relationship with a pretty hot dude who was working at the resort. It's like Hollywood forgot to take down the set. A few months before I got married I had a dream where Bill Murray was attending my wedding and asked to make a toast. I happily agreed. Then, before I could hear the toast, I woke up. I have a story about when the opposite of this happened. It was a freaking epic fantasy dream. Let me tell ya, evil wizard of some sort that I'm pretty sure was my 8th grade math teacher. Kidnapped princess. A worthless but snappy sidekick that was my best friend IRL. This dream had everything. So I beat the bad guy, rescued the princess and brought her back to a village of, I think Ewoks or something. I dunno. Big celebration. Everybody went hooray and stuff, and then it didn't end. We just kinda stood there looking at each other. It felt like a long time. Ewoks just kinda start milling around and doing their everyday crap. Made some small talk with the princess. And then eventually the dream ended and I woke up. It was a strange one. Edit. 2 words. This was like the 4th strangest dream I've ever had. I had one where I was wandering through my hometown for what felt like hours. And eventually the dream became lucid. And the dream dragged on. And I was just walking around looking at stuff. Eventually I started thinking that I'm probably late for school, since the dream went on for so long. And I tried to figure out a way to get myself to wake up. I tried lying down on the ground and thought that people walking on me would probably do it. But it didn't. I didn't feel a thing. So I lied down in the middle of the road and a car hit me. And right before it hit me I woke up in the middle of the night. I once dreamt that all of my family and closest friends were on the world's largest cruise ship. Along the way, we somehow were exposed to radioactive waste that gave us all superpowers or other mutations. I remember so vividly being able to use my mind to move objects with ease. And I threw donuts at my brother, whose skin had turned as hard as stone. This one girl on the cruise that we all universally hated, for reasons I can't remember, received a really random and useless mutation. She grew a really fat lizard tail. Like a leopard gecko who has eaten a lot lol. She was crying about how ugly she was now and all we could do was laugh. Then I woke up. I dreamt that I was part of some Eastern European resistance movement who had to speak in code and hide out in abandoned manors in the forest to plan our attacks against some fascist regime. We enlisted the Pope to help us. But when we went to meet him he has double-crossed us because the regime we were fighting somehow knew the Pope was gay and was going to tell everyone. I woke up then, not knowing if my resistance group was executed, or if we escaped somehow. I call it my gay Pope dream. I had a nightmare a couple years back, and I still remember some bits. I was in a city where there was an outbreak of a disease. Infected people would start leaking black stuff from their eyes and noses and attack non-infected people. For some reason, I was walking in a part of the city that was completely deserted a couple days after the outbreak. Very faintly I heard someone crying. I approached and found out that it came from a backyard. If I wanted to see who it was, I had to climb a high fence. When I walked into the backyard I was freaking horrified. There was a crying little kid, like 3 years old, on a leash, tied to a pole. I didn't dare to approach, because that child was leaking Valk stuff from the nose. I woke up after this, and was still horrified. The parents had to leave their child, who was still alive, chained to a pole outside. That freaked me up for a couple of days. I would watch this movie. I died in one of my dreams, so that was startling, but I was dead for a good 15 seconds or so in my dream, so that was interesting to say the least. I die in my dreams all the time. I usually just end up in spectator mode. I think I've been playing too many video games. Most nights actually. I very rarely have nightmares, and even those are very interesting. Life inside of my head is much more entertaining than reality. I was eating the most delicious chicken nuggets ever. Thanks for watching LWIAR 2. The best of all time r/AskReddit submissions and comments. If you like this video, check out the original LWIAR channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.